Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't met me as yet, my name is Jill and I live in Australia, and I am very impatiently awaiting for autumn to arrive. I love being here with you all. I love making things, I love researching, I love learning new things too, and that's why I like to pass them on to you. I recently mentioned that my next project would be this. And some of you were clever enough to guess that it is a log cabin blanket. Now, there's been a bit of a bone of contention. When I made this, a lady said to me, that is not a log cabin blanket. So I've gone and done research, haven't I? I've put up polls, which I will tell you about, to try to get to the bottom of this log cabin blanket issue. I like the way this one goes, and my tutorial will be made like this one as well. So let's take things back to the very beginning of the log cabin blanket. The log cabin blankets are steeped in a lot of history. They were seen to be used way back in the 1800s and were popular during the time of the American Civil War, because the pattern represented the great American frontier. They were also seen way back in the day in Egypt when they would wrap the mummies in these blankets that had log cabin square patterns. The log cabin blankets we're talking about back then are fabric quilts. They were made from offcuts or old clothing, anything that they could find. They were made with either a diamond or a square shape in the middle, which represented the hearth or the fireplace as being central to their home. Then stripes were added around the edges of the diamond or the square, and that represented the log cabin in which they lived. There are more details that go with this, like certain colours. Red represented the fireplace, yellow square in the centre represented a window with sun shining in, and there was a black square as well that people would hang those quilts up so that other people knew that home was a safe place to go. I love hearing about all these amazing things people came up with that was a necessity, but they've used their craft to help during times of need. The log cabin pattern is extremely popular with quilters, but nowadays, for quite some time, people have used that pattern for knitting and crochet as well. There seems to be a few different ways to create the log cabin pattern, and I think all should be embraced. I don't feel like someone should say to another that that's not correct, and my way is. I did a poll on here, and it was very, very close. I think it's 47 and low 50s for the other. I will show you that. I also did a poll on Instagram, and they had some figures that were a bit more defined. Lots of people thought both ways were the way that it should be. So it can be made with the granny stitch, like this one, and it can also be made with the solid double crochet look. Maureen from Crochet Cavalier on YouTube recently showed us her solid crochet log cabin blankets. So go and have a little look at hers, because I'm going to use my method in the tutorial I make for this. I've even seen patterns that have different stitches for each of the different logs. Now, how many colours, you might ask? Well, I did this one in 5 colours because I didn't want any of the colours to be touching themselves. Do you know what I mean? I wanted a break between each colour. So this one is 5 colours. I've done this in a what's called a 3DK yarn, which is the old terminology for a light worsted. When I do the wraps per inch test on this yarn, it works out as a 10 ply, even though it has the confusing name of a 3DK. The next one I make though is going to be a definite 8 ply, and I'll use my 4mm hook as well. Let me show you the colours I'm going to use. I'm doing an ombre. I wanted to make it a unisex colour blanket, so I've chosen here to use the yarn Smith's Create because that is an 8 ply, and I've got a duck egg here, a robin egg, and these 3 are all a different colour of teal. I think this is going to look really nice. So I feel happy with 5 colours. I think you could use more, but I wouldn't go down to say 3, because when you look at the blanket, you would definitely say you did 1, 2, 3. You would be starting your first colour right on top of the first one. Colours. I don't know about 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that doesn't work either, because here's your first colour and your 5th log would be right next to the first colour. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're starting the first colour here, which is separated. And that's how I want it to be anyway. I don't know about you. You might want to do 3. You just choose whatever you like best. That's the main thing. Something lovely's happened, as happens all the time here. So many lovely things. Kim from Tasmania has some of my hand-dyed yarn sitting away, waiting for the day that she had the inspiration to make this blanket. So how's that? How's that we've connected? And she has my yarn, and now she will feel inspired to make this blanket too. Things like that have just been happening all the time, and it just makes being here so enjoyable. And I hope you're feeling that way too. I look forward to getting back in front of the camera so we can start this off and make it together. Okay, I hope you enjoyed my little history lesson. I know I did, and I will see you all very soon. Bye for now.